Well met. You're listening to Country Dwellers, episode 8.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Rona. How are you today?
Doing well, darling. How are you?
I'm so good, thank you. Obviously, we are very saucy today. That's good. That's good. I was gonna do some mimosas this week, remember? But I forgot to buy myself some champagne, which that's unbelievable in itself, to be quite honest. But I did. Which, I'll probably go out and get some today because I got to go restock on my weekly wine. Got to do my weekly wine run.
I'm overdue for my weekly wine run, but the op tempo of my job right now is super slow. So wine is not in the budget right now. I have one lone bottle left, but I will be stocking up.
You guys are over there making your own damn booze.
Well,
anyway.
That's part of it. Is like I've got cider for days right now, and the Viking has to bottle 2 more 5-gallon buckets. So
you guys made some mead as well, didn't you?
Not this go round. No, not this go round. I have to get bees so I can make mead.
Gotcha. What's that? I'm surprised that you didn't make moonshine with those berries.
Well, I did infusions, right? You have to have a still to
Gotcha.
make alcohol like that, and we're counting on our friend Jay to help us out with that. We gave him some mash to work his still, so we're hoping that on Yule he'll be giving us a couple of bottles. So
very good, very good. And then next year I can look forward to some Blackberry Moonshine.
I mean, we'll get there. We will get there. It's just, when you have a piece of land that you're working, it's a process. You have to work with Mother Nature. I mean, I'm trying to get my raspberry patch ready for winter, and I thought I had at least until next week before the rains moved in. And no, by this weekend we're gonna be having the. I'm gonna go hiking tomorrow. Damn it. I want to do raspberry.
You know what? One of the things that I have come to a realization is I say go hiking, number one. And number two, I've come to the realization that, after 13 years here, I'm actually going to have to start working in the rain sometimes. So I am.
If it's not,
you're much braver than I am, but I'm going to actually start looking into waterproof clothing that I can wear. Because, like you, I'm like, oh, well, I hope it doesn't rain so I can go out there and do my harvesting. Because of course I love the sun. But secondly, I hate working in the rain. But I was like, you know what? It always fucking rains. I need to change my mentality.
If it's not showers, just like monsooning and storming, I'm out there. And it was funny. I was supposed to go and pick up some organic plants from a fellow farmer here a couple of weeks back. And we had that Pineapple Express come through. And I'm like, I'm not coming out. And he's like, well, I'll be there if you change your mind. I'll be out working. I'm like, we had 45-mile-an-hour winds and he's out there working his farm. I'm just like, no.
That's brave.
But yeah, if it's just misting and a light rain, I'll be out there. I mean, you can't let it stop you when you live in the Pacific Northwest.
And that's it. And so yeah, I'm on the hunt for the clothing that's going to keep me dry and warm. So if anybody has any suggestions, please let me know.
I'll let you know offline what I like.
So, good. Okay.
They're not sponsoring me, so I'm not telling them over the.
Love that boundary. I'm drawing those same boundaries. I am. Okay, so I want to talk about not only is that the physicality of the weather coming into change, but last week we talked about, hitting on you going through that change, you know what I'm saying, from peri to full on menopause, and how it kind of Number one, it's pretty cool that it's revolving with Samhain as well and the changing of the seasons. But
Yeah.
number two, let's talk about how they kind of infuse together.
Well, I guess one of the things that I recognized this past week with Pluto going direct is the last 6 months, while Pluto was doing its retrograde, that I knew, like, decidedly that I was on the long stretch. And with Pluto being influencing planet for Scorpio, it seemed really interesting that when it goes direct, it brings massive changes and big shifts, and that is absolutely what has been happening to me. I just knew, like, back in April, I was like, okay, we've gone more than 6 months without a cycle, and I could feel my body changing. My metabolism is slowing down. I haven't shifted the way I eat. I do the same amount, if not more activity. I mean, there was a 6-week period where we were kind of stuck outside of Seattle in the RV while we tried to find this property, where I was super, super sedentary, and it made me scared. Like, it felt like my body was dying.
Ooh, like shutting down.
Yeah, like, it's like, you get up and move, sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, my skin is softening. Like, there's less elasticity. There's this. The Viking and I were joking the other night that our list of self-care items that we have to do every single day is as long as our arms, and you get frustrated because it feels like it takes up so much of your time and so much of your day. But
right.
it's what you have to do if you're gonna continue to
grow old gracefully.
Grow old gracefully. Yes, that's a great way to put it. Grow old, and I use this hashtag all the time, that getting old ain't for sissies, right?
No.
It's absolutely true. You have to fight every single day. You have to fight the age. You have to fight the waning of your strength and everything like that. And that's the thing that I'm realizing right now, is I need to really get back on the strength training. I need to be lifting weights. Hauling hay bales from one end of the farm to the other is a great workout, but it's not something I do every day. Yeah. And so strength training needs to be in regular rotation. So we may have to look at turning a section of the property somewhere into a gym. I don't know.
That would be nice,
So,
wouldn't it? That would be nice. And I mean, you talk about Samhain coming in and bringing in that last harvest, and the things that you have to physically do outside for that last harvest, right? And then Pluto was in retrograde, which is that introspection of spiritual harvest.
yes.
So here you are mentally taking in and trying to harvest all the things mentally, which is just adding to your physical to-do list.
Right.
And then on the outside, you're like, okay, physically, this is my wind down, shut down harvest over here. So it's I think it's so interesting that they really are intertwining and interfusing, or infusing together. And I think that it's so cool how, and I'm just diving into this, but I think it's so cool how when planets are in retrograde, how much they affect us subconsciously. And I've always known, okay, this is for introspective work, but I never realized until really, looking into it, how much subconsciously, without us even thinking about it, that introspection melds with our physicality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a lot of work. Excuse me. It's a lot of work. And it can be distressing almost sometimes. in this shift for me, I feel like in the physical world, I would close our property gates they would constantly be closed, and you would have access to come in, but that's not realistic. But I mean, as soon as I know we're not getting any deliveries, we're home for the night, those gates close. I want the outside world to leave me alone, because it takes so much of my energy to go through this. I mean, when Pluto went direct last week, I was like, ooh, I could feel that big shift. And it's been, I mean, every day there's like these new realizations, and oh yes, I'm birthing a crone, I'm transforming, I'm becoming, the wise woman, however you want to say.
Well, because with Pluto going direct, I mean, Pluto's that planet of fucking change, you know what I'm saying? And with it going direct, it went from introspection, inside change, to, okay, now take all that and let's vomit it out over here into physical change. And how are we physically changing that, So yeah.
So yeah, and with Mars in retrograde, there's this kind of weird dynamic, and I haven't quite figured out kind of what, where the end point is. And I'm just along for the ride at this particular moment. When Mars goes direct again, I may have a better idea of everything that I think is coming to fruition, not just physically, but spiritually, and all of my projects that I'm trying to work in and create for, to live a more magical life, so to speak.
Right, for sure.
I saw another witch that I follow said she's become a professional weirdo, and I could totally do that.
I don't consider the word weirdo. What is it? It's called it's not eclectic. Oh my God, it's where you have a whole bunch of money and you can be a weirdo, but you're not called a weirdo. And I can't remember what the word is right now.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah, my husband always says it. He's like, I can't wait until I can become blah blah blah, and he goes, then nobody will consider me a weirdo because I have a whole bunch of money. I'm like, oh my God, you're so ridiculous right now. I go, it's fun being a weirdo.
Yeah. If you can live a magical life and teach people, and what you do every day is centered around your spirituality, that's awesome.
That's a win. That's definitely a win.
Something that I ever really considered when we started doing Country Dwellers, it was more about me talking out loud to myself to a degree. I wanted to focus, because it had always been a part of my life, but it was a secondary part of my life, because life can get in the way of what you really want to do sometimes, especially when you've got 5 kids in the household.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyhow, it has morphed into much more for me at this point in my life, and I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm giving this next phase of my life a really good foundation. I'm very, very reflective about it. I'm really understanding what my goal and purpose is. I mean, I always knew that helping people and helping the earth was a part of who I was, but integrating that with my spirituality has kind of not always been connected. So it feels really good, but it's a little scary at the same point.
Of course.
I can't fully clearly see the end point that I'm reaching towards right now. So,
you know what? That is to be expected right now, though. That is to be expected. And especially, you know, even though the Pluto's going direct and things like that, we are heading into that darker part of the year. So you
Right.
not being able to see the end of that tunnel completely expected. I mean, the point would be for you to make sure that you concentrate on the celebrations, that you are taking those steps forward to get
Right.
there anyway. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think too many people miss that. You know, they don't celebrate the fact that they were courageous and they took the first step towards something new, you
Right.
know? And I think that people should.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that has been a theme in my entire life. You know, I jump off the cliff and grow my wings on the way down. But I want to have a little more growth before I jump off the cliff this time. I
nice.
just feel like it's wiser because it's such a big cliff that I'm jumping off of. So we'll see. We'll
Well,
see.
what you are talking about goes hand in hand with the card that was drawn for today.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, that's a really good thing. I like that.
The thing that surprised me the most, though, with the physical changes and how it's aligning with some of the planetary things that are happening, is I have this huge nesting desire right now. Not desire. It's a like involuntary urge. And it's
Mhm.
like, this has to be done, and this has to be done, and this has to be done. And I'm tired of things not being the way I want them. I don't want to wait anymore. So I'm having to deal with a little bit of impatience and understand that my body, mind, spirit, wallet, as the case may be, requires that I can only do so much in one day, and I
Right.
have to be good with that. But there's some things that I'm creating boundaries and saying no to other things so that I can create my sanctuary.
Very good.
So,
Think
but
about it this way.
all the books that I read about the change and everything like that, which um, there's not a lot from the pagan perspective
Oh, really?
found. So that's but nobody talks about the fact that you have this nesting urge, much like you do right before you birth a child.
Mm,
And
mhm.
it's very, very legitimate. I'm totally feeling it. You still have incidences where, you're feeling some of the effects of your cycle, from, breast tenderness to feeling kind of, too emotional because your hormones are all out of whack.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that's going to be settling down a little bit here as I move towards, just being in it and not changing into it, but being in it.
Well, think about it this way too. Mercury is going retrograde on the 14th of October, so really soon.
Right.
Um, Mercury is, amongst other things, a planet of travel, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm thinking that maybe that nesting is coming into play as well because we are pandemic and you can't travel right now. Can't get on that boat, can't get in that RV, nothing like that. So I'm thinking that you are taking that Mercury energy and really putting it into your space and
Mhm.
trying to create as much change in your space as you possibly can, making that space your sacred space. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, a space that you'll want to be in rather than having that itch to get on the boat or get in the RV, you
Yeah.
know?
Live in a way that you don't need a vacation, so to speak. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. I think that that is what the Mercury energy might be doing with you for sure. What the Mercury energy is doing to me is I'm surprised that I could even find words this morning, number one.
Hmm.
Like I said, my washer broke, so that was number two. And every time I try and do something electronically, which I was talking to one of my friends about this, like I should know. I mean, hello. But every time I try and do something, it doesn't go through. It shits out on me because of the electronic situation. So everybody back your shit up, man. And it's not even, I mean, it's not even here yet. It's like physically here, you know. I mean, we're in pre-shadow, but god dang, this one's going to be rough. This for electronics for me. Maybe not so much for everybody else.
For me, it's all about focusing on communication and making sure that I'm aware of how I'm communicating, because sometimes I just say something off the cuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've communicated something clearly and not necessarily. And the biggest thing I need to communicate is that Mama can't do it all.
Yes.
Like, I need true rest. And true rest means body, mind, and spirit. You know, I can sit down on the couch, but if I'm, you know, focused on, you know, also writing or, you know,
you're not resting.
You're not really resting. You have to, you know, for me, I have to get to the mat and I have to sit and I have to meditate and I just have to be.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard to prioritize that when I feel like the pressure of the season changing and, oh, the raspberry patch isn't done, or I haven't planted the winter garden yet, and oh, the cold frame that's dilapidated and not safe really should be coming down before winter, but it's not. I'm like, there's things that I just have to accept that it's not happening, and that is okay. It's okay.
I think one of the ways that it might make it a little bit different for you to accept is, you know, I know looking outside and all that and all those things that need to be done make you a little anxious because, you know, you can't get to all of them or whatever. But think about it this way. As you're going through this change, you know, kind of relating yourself to the outdoors and things like that, and the season that is waning and everything, how would you like that season to wane? Would you like it to be stormy and windy and blistery, or would you like it to be beautiful and calm? You know what I'm saying? Try and relate this change that you're going through during these seasons to that. And then I think that not only will you connect with Mother Earth a little bit more, but it might really bring you the ability to celebrate what you are transitioning into, you know, without that anxiety, and allow you to know, you know what, I want my change to be beautiful as well. So therefore, I'm not going to cause anxiety, just like Mother Earth, you know?
That's a great thing great way to look at it. I appreciate that.
Sometimes Mercury comes in like that. And then other times Mercury is like, hey, what's this? I make sandwiches with it. Oh, it's bread. That's it. No shit, dude. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking. That's why some people look at me like I'm a freaking airhead, because I'm like, oh, what? Oh, it's a cup. Yeah, that's it. The drinky thing.
Whatever that word is that Bay wants to be.
Right? Okay. Okay, good. Let's talk about our reduce, reuse, recycle. What are you doing this week?
Well, I'm still focusing on the whole reduction part of it.
Good.
And one of the biggest problems in the ocean, or all over the planet, as it were, is single-use plastics, right? And we went through last year the whole like straw thing, or the year before, whatever it was. And so now everybody's got reusable straws and things like that, which we talked about last week. But saving food is important. I don't think that you should waste food at all.
Yeah.
And we have the technology to not do it. But the single-use plastic, the saran wrap, which I use as sparingly as possible. And that's only because we're in transition. You know, we moved into the house, things that I had to reduce my plastic use were gone. Somebody else has them. But one of the things that I used all the time on the boat and in the RV are these reusable plastic containers. So they take, you know, your hefty and Ziploc bags, and you just wipe them out, and they're BPA free. You just hand wash in cool water and air dry.
Very cool.
Don't put hot foods in them. You wait till the food is cool before you put it in there. But it's food safe, freezer safe, travel friendly, but you do have to hand wash it. But it's, I don't know what it is, but like the food doesn't really stick to it.
It almost reminds me of a pencil pouch.
It almost, yes, no. And this one, especially this size.
Yeah.
This is the medium, the quart size, and this is the snack size. I don't have a lot of the large sizes yet. I'm still investing in that. But in the interim, I have these lovely little wax material. So it's material that has a wax liner on it, and then you can just wrap the food in it. So
that's very cool.
Yes, I love this. I'm probably going to start making it myself, but I got this set. This is the medium size one, which is really nice for like a big half a sweet onion.
Yeah.
And but there was a larger size and then a smaller size, and I bought this at a farmer's market in Palm Springs. But it is so useful. And again, you have to hand wash it. And some people probably will grumble at that, but it's not a big deal. Just a little bit of warm water, and whatever's on it comes up. I mean, I stored onions in this, and it doesn't smell like anything. So
that's good.
Yeah, so that's
good.
That's my R3 focusing on reduction.
Mine this week is we all know how much wine I like to drink, and that's quite a bit. So I use my wine bottles for many different things, most of the time moon water. But I got one of those bottle cutters. And so I'm actually cutting my wine bottles and using them as candles. So candle holders. So nice. That's my reduce, reuse, recycle, and putting my drinking to good work.
I like that. I like that idea. I used to paint them and create oil bottles and dish soap bottles out of them.
I mean, you can, if you want to, if you want to use them as a candle holder or as they are, you can just put a taper candle in there, and then the wax melts all over the bottle, and it's super duper cool. Like we've been doing that since I was a kid. Oh my God, we've been doing that since I was a kid. We had the wine bottles, the bean bags, all of it. I loved it, and so sometimes I do that, but this time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and make some candles out of these damn wine bottles. Why not? And the one thing I haven't figured out yet is what I want to do with the tops. So I've still been recycling those, but there's things that you can do with the tops as well. So I'm going to check into that and see what I can play with those too.
Wind chimes.
Yeah. So wind chimes. Yeah, that's a good idea. So that is my reduce, reuse, recycle. Oh, okay. So I've got an update on trick or treating because I know everybody wants to know.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm
you know how last week I was like, oh, I think the kids are not going to go. Well, I was outvoted. And so we ordered costumes from Spirit Halloween, which I love that store. And they have Hayden's going as one of the old time physicians with the long beak, mask.
Plague. Oh, that's so cute.
Plague doctor. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them running around. So he's going as that. And then Hunter's going as, I can't remember what he's going as, but his eyes light up and he's got that like extra mask, so I'm like, okay. And then they also have these candy bags with they're like a hand that comes out like that, and then the bag is underneath, so it has the opening in the center.
So they can stand back.
Exactly. And
That's
hold
awesome.
out their hands and let the candy. The one rule I said, you know what? I don't want a whole bunch of bunching at the door. So if you see that, stand back, number one. And number two, no eating candy before I get to it. And their costumes, they wear gloves anyway. So I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I can deal with this. And then on our front porch, we're going to put the painter's tape down for the every 6 feet. So hopefully the kids will see that and know that, you know, give everybody a little bit of distance. So that is my my Halloween trick-or-treating update. I know it was, you know.
And the neighborhoods there, the community is saying kids can trick or treat.
Girl.
Because there's a lot of communities that are like, nope,
Girl.
Halloween.
Come on, you know my community now. You know. Yeah, I mean, I've been reading some things on Facebook and they're like, you know, it's just, yeah, let's just put it that way. Yes, they are.
Lots of arguing.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have little, would be really conflicted.
Totally.
But, you know, there's no sidewalks where I live. So I don't, and there's a lot of very, lots of older people, retirees. I don't anticipate we're going to get a lot of trick-or-treaters. There are a couple of little kids like on either end of us in the neighborhood, but gates are closed. I'm sorry. I have no bandwidth for it right now.
It was very hard for me to be okay with that. But then I saw the precautions and I was like, okay, all right, as long as you guys know the rules and Daddy's going to go with them. So it's all going to be okay, I think.
Is he going to be the enforcer?
Yeah. Right? Right. That's what he is.
He should dress as the Punisher or something.
I think he'd love to go as Deadpool one year. So I think we're going to have to do that one year for sure. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about?
Witch's Brew?
Yes. Let's talk about that Witch's Brew. What you got going on over there?
Talking about the plague mask that your son's going to wear for Halloween. So I brewed up some 4 Thieves. And I'll probably do some more. So it's ready like every week during winter time. And so 4 Thieves, the legend around this brew is that there were 4 like shipyard dock workers during the plague in the Middle Ages in Europe, who were offloading all of these, you know, exotic things like garlic and spices and herbs, and their water, they had to put vinegar in their water in order to drink it at the seaside because it wasn't healthy otherwise.
Oh, wow.
And so they were constantly ingesting all of these things, and they remained healthy while the community around them just fell to the plague.
Oh, wow.
And they took advantage of that and raided some of the more wealthier estates in their community. They were caught and arrested and stood before the judge. And the judge said, I will let you go free if you give me the recipe of what made you healthy. And so that is where the legend of 4 Thieves was. So it's apple cider vinegar. So if you've been following along these last 8 weeks, you probably, hopefully, have made or acquired some apple cider vinegar. And it's garlic. You see, I just filled it up with garlic, sage, mint, rosemary, thyme, lavender. Optionally, you could add in wormwood, but wormwood yet on my property, and I refuse to buy herbs. I have either have them growing or I don't have them.
Yes, I got you. So,
optionally, you would put wormwood in it as well, but not as much as you put of the other herbs. You put it in a dark cupboard for 6 weeks, strain it, and then you take a tablespoon, dilute it in like some tea, or what my favorite thing to do is use it as a deglaze when I'm cooking. So it's like infused into your meat, because let me tell you, This does not smell good. It's awful smelling to a lot of people. I now don't mind the smell because I know that it's health and goodness.
Right.
So I take this during the winter every day along with my elderberry syrup. And I've been staying pretty healthy.
Now,
But
do you take that by like doing a shot of it, or do you take
you
it because you put it on your food?
If you're, the Viking and I will just take a tablespoon of it straight, especially like if I feel that tickle in my throat, I will do that. But most people need to dilute it in water because otherwise, you make the medicine face,
Yes.
But like I
Yes.
said, you could put it in like a drink. Or like I said, I love cooking with it. It's it's fragrant, but you put garlic and vinegars and herbs on your food anyways. Why not do this infusion that's already ready to go and has medicinal qualities? And when I brewed it up, when I put everything in, of course, I set intentions for health and I think that in it as well makes it that much more special.
Well, a lot of it too, I believe, is because you grow a lot of that on in your space.
Yes.
So using those, and I know that not everybody can, but using those herbs that you've put your love and attention into also add to that magic. I fully believe that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So all of these herbs, the mint, the sage, the thyme, everything is from my property. The lavender, it's all here. So I need to get wormwood for next year, but it's a plant that's difficult to find. And I've spent the last couple of weeks removing a lot of poison plants on my property. And now I'm thinking I should have kept like a small garden of poison plants. The only problem is I have to keep the animals away from it.
Yeah.
Because there's good uses for things like lily of the valley and hemlock and nightshade and everything like that. It has to be in small doses, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
But
for sure.
we'll see. I'm digressing, but that's for thieves. It can, like I said, it can be used medicinally. You can use it as a soak for a detox for your skin.
That's nice.
You'd have to have like a gallon jug of it, but it's totally doable to do that. It's a great room disinfectant and freshener. You do 1 part water and 1 part of the 4 thieves and just spray it like you would Lysol. And then it's a great bug repellent too.
Oh, I'm sure it's that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
1/4 cup to about a cup of water, again, in like a little spray bottle. Bugs hate it. They hate it.
And, I'm sure that it could be used as a sexual repellent as well.
Oh yeah, just put a little dab next.
I'm not in the mood. Oh my God. Okay, I want to talk about a couple things that I am going to be doing this coming week.
Okay.
I want to make a shout out to my group of initiates. Well, they're turning into initiates. So my group of witchy pledges that are graduating. And I know, and we are going to be celebrating their graduation on the new moon, of course.
Yay.
And I'm so excited for them. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. They've done such amazing things. And then November, we start our 2nd year with them. So I'm super stoked. So good job, girls. So that night we're doing their initiation ritual, the new moon. And the night before I'm doing a dark moon ritual because I want to start celebrating the dark moon a little bit more. And so that's probably going to be on the Facebook group once again.
Day is that?
That is on the 15th. That's a Thursday night.
Okay.
So yeah, I want to start doing those more often. I mean, I love my full moons, don't get me wrong. Um, but I really dig the dark moon, man. I really love it. So I think I'm going to start doing that too.
Yeah.
Um, and then like my next path of the moon, level 1, or I'm sorry, foundational level, starts around spring equinox. So I'm very excited about that. I've already got that prepped. Thank God for Mercury, because Mercury has been the one that's been giving me the verbiage to use and organize and change things around. So that's nice. Um, and then on Thursdays at noon on my Instagram, I go live with tarot polls. Tuesday at 10 a.m., I go live on Painted Goddesses Instagram, and we do witchy talk and tarot polls. Um, and then I also want to talk about all of that is wonderful, and I love doing all that. I also want to talk about really quick the form of divination that's coming into play
Mm.
for this Samhain coming up. And I don't know what's calling you to play with it, but what's calling me to play with it this year is water. Water
Mm.
really wants me, and I'm assuming that's because number one, it's connection to goddess.
Mm.
Number two, it's connection to intuition. Number three, it's that introspective, that deep dive time. So I think for me, there's going to be a lot of water scrying happening,
Mm.
and water magic and moon water making and all that stuff. Do you have a particular divination that's calling out to you for this, Samhain?
Actually, the last couple of days, I keep saying I need to get my pendulum back out. It's been stored in a box for a couple of years now, but I have, in recent weeks, I've been doing my crystal gazing way more, way more. Um, and it's the one thing that I love to do, but it's difficult to do in isolation and of the pandemic is my tasseography. I
Mm,
love reading tea leaves, but it's really difficult to do that just on your own. That's
yeah.
definitely a gathering type of divination. So I think I've just been kind of going back to my crystal gazing, and I'll probably pull out my pendulum here in the next couple of days as my, the rains come in and I'm more inside.
Right. Isn't it funny how, I mean, we have so many forms of different divination that you and I do, but isn't it funny how I always find this amusing how sometimes certain forms jump out and they're like, okay, play with me now. You need to play with me now.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a little bit deeper investigation into that. And then, doing the wheel of the year and then looking at that astrological wheel and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, so
Mm.
these forms of divination that organically are coming into play are connected to all of this, every bit of it. It's to me, it never surprises me how connected things are, or never stops surprising me at how connected things are. Number one. And number two, it's just, I'm enjoying it so much because I think I'm actually taking that time out now to
Mm.
really delve into what's happening around, which is what I do suggest everybody do, especially during this waning time of year. Take that time out, find out why you're feeling a certain way, find out why a certain form of divination is calling to you, find out why you're feeling as though you need to nest. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, check in with your dreams, things like that. So it's
Mm.
really important during the waning time of year to do that. And you are very, very lucky to be going through this transformation during this time.
I agree. I agree. And you're going to be doing, a dark moon and
Oh,
then
yeah.
a new moon graduation. And the dark moon is when we have scheduled my crone bonfire,
Oh, good.
hoping the weather is out so we can actually do it. And it's
Yeah.
not, a fire in the fireplace. And I plan to do some scrying. And we talked about maybe recording it because I think I'm gonna kind of make a little ritual. I've been making notes and jotting things down, and just a real kind of rebirth and acknowledgement of here I am, and I'm moving forward in this phase of life now.
Very
So
good.
We'll see.
I think that it definitely should be celebrated, girl. Definitely should be celebrated.
In the meantime, I'm just watching Halloween movies and crocheting and doing lots and lots of reading and other introspective nesting type of things. So
I need to take a look at what Halloween movies are on TV. We've kind of been, since September around here, we've kind of been easing the boys into scary movies, so I don't like the gore, but I love the scare, what I'm saying? So we've been kind of easing them in. So I'm going to have to hit up Freeform or Family Channel and see, okay, what's going on here too. So I usually schedule it like this is when this is happening, but I haven't done that this year. So I need to sit down and do that too.
Since the 1st of October, we've been watching movies each evening, kind of as our happy hour.
Yes.
And we watched World War Z. I've never
Oh my God. I can't watch that movie. Runa, I can't watch it. It freaks me the fuck out.
I was like, okay, I need a palate cleanse. And we watched like the British Bake Off because I was just like,
It's, to me, and I know that this is going to sound really crazy, but to me, that movie is too real. And I'm like, no.
Watch it for the first time sitting in a pandemic.
Exactly. And I'm like, that movie scared the shit out of me because of the this could actually really happen factor. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and then the zombies move so damn quickly.
Oh yeah. Scramblers are terrifying. Give me a shambling zombie any day.
It wasn't like Walking Dead where they're like,
yeah, those are shamblers. The World War Z have scramblers, right?
God. They scare the shit out of me. I had to turn it off like midway. I'm like, this is causing a lot of anxiety. I can't watch it.
But that was the scariest that we've watched. We kicked it off with Hocus Pocus.
Of course.
Because of course, but we've been doing 31 days of Halloween movies traditionally for years now.
Yes.
And this year I'm just like, in a lot of years I could only do like a couple a week, but this year it's like each day I'm like, we're doing this. And if you don't want to watch it, go do something else. This is what we're doing.
Exactly. Well, I like I said, I love how you are really, really putting into your daily routine time for you now. I love that so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it took me 54 years to get there. But
you know what? Don't discount that, girl. You're there now. You're there now.
Oh yeah.
And, one of the things that confirms all of this amazingness for you, especially, I mean, for the whole world, yes, but for you going through this as well, is your Ace of Pentacles. So I've got the Ace of Earth here.
Oh, that's a beautiful card.
I know, isn't it?
Isn't it? I love the stag.
Absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, the Ace of Pentacles is that seed, that new beginning seed that we plant into Earth, into our foundation. Really putting it, and it's funny because new moon is coming, and and that's when you're going to be transitioning, right? And so it's really great that that card came up because that's that seed. We're planting it in our foundation. We're planting it for stability. Yeah. We are planting it for new beginnings, new opportunities, new potential of, things. And this is, I mean, yes, spiritual, but when we talk about pentacles, it's more of the physical aspect,
right?
The bringing to fruition change physically. It's the seed of that manifestation of foundational change. And so when we talk about foundational, we talk about money, family, home, health, career, all of those different things. And you are going through all of it right now, every single bit of it. Yep. So this new moon, you and you know, doing your bonfire and really transitioning into that later stage in life, you know what I'm saying, is all connected. And
Yeah.
going into Samhain, it's all connected.
It's amazing.
And this is such a amazing time for you to create the foundation that you really, really want, that foundation of beauty and grace and quiet and calm and peace, you know?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's really a wonderful time for you. And I hope that, you know, that aspect of that card resonates with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good. Very good. All right. Anything else before we do the spell?
No, I have nothing else, darling.
All right, here we go. Let the truth be seen around the world. Let lies unravel and unfurl. Let toxic voices stop talking and just listen. Let blind eyes see the real intention. Let justice prevail and let the light in. Let closed hearts open and let the healing begin. So it is. Beautiful.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Go in peace, love, and light.
The circle is open but unbroken. Until we meet again, my darlings, merry part and blessed be.